Welcome everyone to this section of the course on k-means clustering. For a quick overview of what we'll be discussing in this section, we'll begin with an understanding of just clustering in general, that is the unsupervised learning methodology and ideas behind clustering. Taken an unlabeled data set, can we actually cluster this into groups? Then we'll focus on the specific methods of the k-means algorithm. We'll begin with a discussion on the history and intuition of k-means clustering, and then we'll move on to the mathematical theory of k-means. Keep in mind, k-means is actually a very simple and intuitive way of clustering unlabeled data, and the mathematical theory behind it is more of a formal definition of what the intuition is actually doing for the clustering. So mathematically, it's not too complicated. It just has to use some complicated formulation in order to describe the actual process and loop that's behind k-means clustering. Once we understand intuition and theory of k-means clustering, we'll move on to actually coding out an example of k-means, and then we'll set you loose on an exercise in order to test your new skills, and we'll also go over the solution for it. Now, a quick important note is be careful not to confuse k-means with k-n. I know they both have k in their name, but they're pretty much completely different algorithms, and they solve completely different problems and are really not related in any way. So k-means is an unsupervised clustering algorithm. K-nearest neighbors is a supervised classification algorithm, or also can be used for regression. But the k is totally different in both of them, and they're really just not related at all. And what's a little even more confusing is we end up actually using an elbow method in both k-nearest neighbors and k-means in trying to decide the right value of k. But again, they're pretty much totally unrelated because one is supervised and one is unsupervised. And I see a lot of students get these confused because they both sound really similar, but they're completely separate. So just keep that in mind. They're two totally different algorithms. Okay, let's begin and get started with learning k-means clustering by first focusing on what clustering means in general as an unsupervised learning algorithm. I'll see you at the next lecture.